Hi guys, PJ back with JacksT72, this time on another Fallout 76 video. We are taking a look at shelters. Shelters have been introduced quite a long time now and there's a really big selection of them. But the whole thing is, in a way, are they worth it or not? They are not a cheap thing. We're normally looking at 1,500 or 1,800 atoms for each individual shelter. Now that's quite an amount of real world money if you look at how many shelters are available if you've bought all of them. Now if you're a builder, yeah, okay, you know, they've got a big build budget and basically you can go fairly mad with them, not completely mad with them however, but you can fill them up if you try hard enough. I've certainly filled quite a few up myself, so has Jax, so they're not unlimited and there is a few problems. So if you're a newer player out there, just hear this first. You can't put things like water resources in there, so for example sinks, that type of thing that actually supply water, you can't do it. You can't put companions in them, which is a shame because if you've got medical bays and stuff, you know, you could possibly have the Brotherhood of Steel medical chap running around in it, quite a nice idea. But you can have mannequins, however you can only have 5. Now that is shared with power armoured display stands, so bear that one in mind as well before you spend your hard-earned atoms. There is a limit as to how many people, or fake people if you like, you can have in your shelters. Bugs? Oh yeah, we got bugs. From day one, there's been the instances where sometimes you walk in somebody's shelter and it's completely empty, not filled out in the slightest. So you have to log out and log back in again, or sometimes just go out the shelter and go back in the shelter for it to actually load. But seeing as visitors to shelters are, well, to be honest with you, incredibly rare, normally only when there's a daily challenge to get an influx of people possibly entering your shelter. Real world, I'd say if you play it a lot like we do, you're probably going to get 3 visits a month if you're lucky. So there's not many people going to be seeing your shelter. It's more for your personal building and converting it into what you want. In fact, we've got many instances of what you can do with them, you know, running in the background right now. There is a wide variety of stuff you can do. I mean, it is endless, but of course, you're probably spending more money in the Atom Store buying even more stuff to kit them out with. It does get rather pricey, shall we say. The other problem from day one, which still hasn't gone away, is you will kit your shelter out, come back to it, only to find quite a lot of items floating in mid-air. So they're normally a centimetre off the floor or thereabouts, and you've got to pick them up, reposition them back on the floor. It's some sort of weird glitch to do with the boundaries of the rooms and the size of the shelters, and basically you put it right, you'll think it looks fine, and then you look at it again and, well, it's floating a centimetre off the floor, which is a pain, because if you're kitting a whole shelter out and then you go back to it the next day and everything's floating, or some of the stuff's floating, that's a problem. It's never ever been fixed, so I don't think it will ever get fixed. Bit of a problem that. Shelters are ideal for displaying collections. Okay, so camp budgets are rather small and they get filled up more and more with all the new stuff that we've got every single season. Shelters are good for, you know, displaying fashion masks or weapons or paints, etc, etc. The only problem is, as we found, once you've done the shelter, you actually forget to revisit it. So you'll go to a shelter and then a year down the line look at it and go, oh, that stuff's out of date that's actually in it. We've got loads of new stuff now. Good example is Nuka-Cola. Last season we had a big Nuka-Cola season. If you've got a Nuka-Cola themed shelter or a restaurant in your shelter and you did it early on, you've now got a ton more stuff you could add to it, so you'd have to redo it. So are they worth it? If you're an incessive builder that just loves rebuilding and rebuilding and rebuilding, yes. Okay. If you're a die-hard Fallout nutcase like we are, yeah, you're going to buy them. You're going to have all of them, let's face it. There's no getting away from that. The general people, and you're watching your atoms and you're looking at the Atom Store, no, I don't think so. You get 2 free ones anyway. Well, there was 2 free ones. You get 1 free one now, and I'm sure they'll make the other one free eventually again. But actually, no, I don't think they're worth the atoms if you're not a dedicated player and you're not into your building in a big way. They won't get very many visits. You won't, you know, show them off that often. That's my personal opinion of playing this since before the beta, yeah. And then they added shelters in, so from day one we've done the shelters, and that's sort of the football you get. But guys, I hope this was helpful. Hopefully you saw something in there. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.